Welcome back to Newsday. Thank you for staying with us. Some critical stakeholders within the All Progressives Congress have been speaking up against the party's zoning formula. Amongst those are the chairman of the Southwest Governors Forum and Ondo State Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu, who on Wednesday described the arrangement as brazenly skewed, unjust, and targeted against some zones and individuals. Some aspirants to the office of Speaker of the House of Representatives and several members-elect also warned APC's National Working Committee and other party stakeholders to prepare for a repeat of the 2015 scenario in the event that it decides to retain the zoning formula as it is. It will be recalled that some senators and House of Representatives members had, back in 2015, defied the ruling party's choices and elected their own independent candidates for principal positions in the two chambers of National Assembly. Well, we have Arise analyst Dayo Sobowale here to react to the APC zoning of the National Assembly leadership positions. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Sobowale.
It's a pleasure.
Well, it seems there's a lot of bitterness within the discussions and the siftings of these positions. What's your take on what's playing out?
Okay, that is to be expected, because they are distributing the largest of the political victory at the elections. But one thing is clear: the National Working Committee of the APC has been very pragmatic, and it has tried to pacify a section of the electorate that felt hot by the Muslim ticket. And then what Akeredolu is doing is to be expected in the political system. I will explain one by one. See, the policy of pacification, which I have identified, is to assuage the feelings of Christians who felt left out by that ticket. That the APC has learned from its mistake. It has won a victory, what is called a costly Pyrrhic victory, and that it wants to carry people on board. That is why it has picked a Christian president of Senate and a Muslim speaker and a Christian deputy speaker. That is Kalu. In doing that, it has done its best to be seen as being reactive and pragmatic. But in doing it, it has not told people that it is cast in stone. The party has still opened itself to more consultation. That's flexibility in spite of the transparency. But you see, Akeredolu cannot be pacified easily because he's the chairman of the Governors Forum. And long before this zoning was announced, he had cautioned the president-elect not to be hijacked from some people in the party. Even in a statement, he was accusing some people of pressing the buttons of power. That's so wrong. He is very strong in his opposition, but I can bet you he won't bring the house down because of that. Now, what attracts me more is the ingenuity of the political leadership of the APC. Look at what they have done with the Northwest, the giant in terms of electoral strength. In Shakespeare, there is a saying that is, to Caesar, it is better to be first in a village than second in Rome. That is precisely what they have done to pacify the Northwest. The Northwest wanted the Senate presidency, but they gave it the speakership. Do you get me? And to pacify it the more, they gave it this deputy Senate presidency. So in a way, they have tried to to manage the bull in the China shop so that it does not destroy the house.
Southeast, fit into all this?
The Southeast, even the Southeast has been
I know, but they complained of being marginalized.
But the deputy speaker.
Why deputy? Why not, Senate
everybody cannot be number one. Somebody must be number one. Nobody must. Look, to the Southeast, even the Southeast has accepted what you think is beneath them. Because before, some people thought the Southeast because they didn't get much electorally in the Southeast. But the Southeast has accepted it, and the man is ready to work. And then, what is in favor of the National Working Committee now is that those who the appointments have favored, get me, will not want that arrangement to be overturned. So they too will not go to sleep. They will be fighting to buy people over. But then, this is an era, an era of political chicanery, horse trading, when people will do anything to get what they want, but then it is now off to the party. The party has shown flexibility, it has shown pragmatism, and it has, unlike the PDP and Wiki, it has, to me, it has behaved like the story of the oak and the storm. When the storm was blowing, and the oak, the big tree said to stand it and stood, and it was uprooted. But the small reed bent in the direction of the one survived.
Bent over.
That is what this APC leadership is doing. And I think somehow, they will do their way through it.
What about the minority caucus, so-called Greater Minority Caucus, formed by 183 members? They too are scouring for candidates.
Yeah, they are all members of the party. Mm. It is an intra-party dispute.
No, we're talking about members of the opposition parties who have teamed up to form an alliance.
Yes.
Saying that they believe that they even have more numbers together. Coming together, they have more numbers than the APC.
That's political muscle flexing. You see, if the APC goes to sleep, if the leadership goes to sleep, they will have their way. But the APC has many target audiences. It has to face, to be able to, it is in power now, to be able to rule effectively and to control the legislation in such a way that it passes its bills through, and that the system of separation of powers and checks and balances runs smoothly. And I think it is on the right track. Before, I said this change may consume the APC if it ignores it. It has not. It has tackled, in my own view, the consequences of the Muslim ticket. And now it is trying not to alienate itself from its own membership. Get me? And it is bold enough to have announced those results. I mean, those zoning. You get me? It has left some. You are not talking of what of the North Central that was left.
I was actually going to come to that. They stormed the
see how they are going to explain
the other
that
day
to the North Central. I'm sure they will tell them maybe this is what is on the ground now, that they have to pacify them. That's why I said it's a policy of pacification of pragmatism. They have to pacify them so that they don't make them look irrelevant or be ungrateful to them.
Mr. Sobowale, yes. I'm wondering, how would this policy of, or this politics of pacification that you talked about, how would it help the, independence of the legislature? You talked about, separation of powers, checks and balances, but how can we have that when they are handpicking, anointing, candidates that should lead the assembly?
Well, it's a management issue now. They want the best hands to lead the assembly. So, it's a potpourri. They have to start well, and then the next round will be how to manage proceedings on the House to get.
Should it be the party choosing the best hands or the lawmakers themselves?
The lawmakers are party members before they became legislators. Who put them there in the first instance? It's not the party. They cannot buy the finger that has fed them. And they are of no use if they don't recognize the potency or strength of the party that brought them into power. When it comes to brass tacks, I said it yesterday, the system of carrot and stick. Those who play ball, you get me, will get the largest office. Those who don't can be disciplined. Yes, that is the ball game. There must be some discipline whether you like it or not. People cannot just eat their cake and have it.
Well, with the mental gymnastics that's going about trying to apportion this for this side and this arena, it's going to leave a lot of angry, bitter taste, bad blood in a lot of people's mouths.
That is politics.
Especially regardless of the fact that the consensus candidates were announced, but people are still saying, hey, I'm still in the race. How will this play? Is this, you said it's normal politics.
You have mentioned consensus. You see how the game is playing out now. What they are saying is that there should have been consultations before consensus candidate.
Right.
But the party, in its own wisdom, put the consensus candidate out first. Okay, let us fight over that. You get me? I'm sure it feels it has the efficacy and the management grip to manage the situation. Yes, and I like the way they are going about it. They have not fought anybody, even though Akeredolu is pressing those who have protested, who want to contest, that they are bold people, they have come out. That is inciting rebellion within the party. You get me? But the party, he went on to say that at the end of the day, he remains a loyal party member. There is a large semblance of party discipline and control, unlike what happened on the other side, the other time.
Well, talking about Akeredolu, in his reaction, you know, like you mentioned earlier, you talked about some few individuals already pressing power buttons in Aso Rock. So I want to believe he's alluding, you know, to these cabals that we've been hearing about, you know, over the years.
No. Okay. Don't bring that in again. That's
old? Because I'm hoping we will not have that as an excuse. Because, you know, even the President Muhammadu Buhari himself talked about some individuals, you know, that have tried to intimidate him, you know, that have tried to work against his presidency. So if you're already talking about some powers pressing buttons in Aso Rock when they've not even come into power, I hope that will not be an excuse for non-performance when they eventually get there.
No. You see, it's the usual thing to cry wolf. Say, no, when there is none to preempt some things from happening. He didn't identify people. He said people close to the president that try to press the button of power. There is no presidency, no president that will not have his inner caucus. You get me? Kitchen cabinet that we were trusted with things, and those who are left out. What Akeredolu even highlighted, which you have not said, was that the governors' forum was not being given the importance it deserves. It was not consulted. Although he himself was out of the country, just came back yesterday when they were doing the whole thing. So, see, at the end of the day, it will be difficult to see a big political party trying to distribute the largest of office. It's going to be very rough. Going to be very rough before it gets settled.
All right.
Yes.
Well, we only have a brief amount of time, but for those who might not have been around back in 2015 when the game was changed, can you give us a brief history refresher as to what happened and if you see it likely happening again this time?
It's to avert it. That is why the party is keeping its ears to the ground. But 2015, what happened was that it was a personal thing. So on the day of this sort of election, scheduled for opening, for them to mix it, some people went, majority of them went to greet the president in Abuja. And while they were greeting the president, the president had just returned the day before. I was asleep, so I was waiting for him. By the time they came, Saraki and they have teamed up.
Political
they have literally finished the election. That's right. That's subterfuge of the ISO.
Subterfuge.
That's right.
All right.
So it's to avert a repetition that lightning does not strike twice at the same place. That is why APC is bending backwards to accommodate all options, all opinions, to settle differences.
Arise News analyst, Mr. Dayo Sobowale, thank you so much for joining us on Newsday.